Alrighty, good morning everybody. It's Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. And we'll take a look. The market's still just chopping around. Pull up the higher time frames real quick here. Still chopping around inside of this block here where the market has been for, let's see, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and now here we are, Wednesday, still inside. So let's go ahead and see what happened. Again, was still a little bit of a choppy day, but we'll go back and take a look here. So out of the open, as the market pulled back from very close to the all-time high that it tested in the pre-market there, started to trend lower, and then as you can see here, here's our crossover coming out of the open here. That's the vertical line you see there. Market came down, there's our crossover, held below the VWAP there, and there's your, I guess, the first tag of the 200 that worked to the tick, but there's that first one as we kind of left the area and came back. There's that first tag. You had a great opportunity there. It was just about a 38% retracement of this little leg down out of the open. It was also VWAP. It was also the 200 in the very orientation I teach. So there was a great opportunity right there to take a short there with very limited risk. Remember, we have a lot of clues for the bears up off the all-time high and failing just in front of it in the overnight session, and then coming down and failing just around the open here to lower high, and then getting down through VWAP. These are all clues for a potential bearish pullback, and then there's your opportunity to jump in with very limited risk, and that's really all you had to do for the entire day, right? Jump in, get short, capture a nice 20, 30 point move, and you're done. Now, if you missed out on that, on the short side, you had another opportunity to grab it off the 200 once again. So again, here are two entries in the market with nearly zero risk that gave you 10, 20, in this case, 20, 30 points to the downside. And in this case, you got yourself at least 15 points to the downside, right? So not too bad of an opportunity yesterday for the bearish setups. They still continue to work out all morning here, as you can see. And then we got a reversal just about 2 hours after the open there for the pop. And this is what I mean. We came down just a little bit and back into this chop range in here. Came all the way back down. We can move this over. It came all the way back down into the chop range. And then we found support and went ahead and pushed out, if I'm looking at the right day there. And what is going on here? 57, 56. There should be. We have a new eye level there. So we came down right into this eye level. Now, I just built this out last night. So this level is based on a lot of the previous price action for the last couple days and going back into basically July. So this is a level that was built based off those areas, and that's exactly where they came down to here to find support. I knew there was a level there, it just wasn't set to all the charts. So we came down, basically held off the scaffolding area. Remember, this is an area in the chart where on the higher time frames we see a lot of strong resistance around that area, maybe even chopped around over here, and then once it's above it, finding some decent support in many instances, right? So not surprising, they came right into that structure zone, found support with bullish divergence. And even though the line wasn't on there yesterday on the chart, you should have started to recognize once we found support from this 56 area that there was now a potential change in phase, right? The bulls then began to come back into power, broke through the previous swing highs of the morning session there, got back through VWAP, and all along the whole way up. This is why I say in an aggressive market, that fast moving average becomes your best friend, because if you would have just bought every single pullback to the fast moving average, you took on, in some instances, no risk or a couple ticks of risk on the S&P futures, and you got yourself this whole push all the way up basically to the high the day before where price started to peter out, right? So great long opportunities once this started to extend out. And if you missed out on buying because you were still thinking like a bear, shouldn't have once they started getting back through VWAP there. But if you missed out on buying, you even got a perfect opportunity on the pullback to our roadmap level and the 200 moving average again in a bullish orientation, right? The first test of the 200, once we got the crossover, once price got back through VWAP, and we were obviously breaking out in a bullish fashion, and then bam, your opportunity right off the 200 there for what was just about a 10-point pop, just under 10 points. So great opportunity there. You even got an opportunity to buy the Hopel or the previous daily high on these little micro pullbacks as the market was breaking out to new highs. And you would have got probably a little 5-point scalp out of it. Didn't really get much past about that 5-point mark, if that. And then got that deeper pullback there. And then you can see they retested our roadmap level to the tick. How many times till we see this stuff happen? Now we're on a new contract with brand new levels, and they're still holding the market within a tick or two. So beautiful opportunity again from there. And then it was just kind of sideways at the end of the day. However, look at this beautiful retracement right back to the previous daily close in VWAP here. Not saying it held VWAP to the tick here. You did, if you got in there, I might have even gotten stopped out because it did go a little further than I would have wanted to. However, I would have most likely looked at that previous daily close. It was very close. I don't even know. I didn't even measure it, but very close to a 50% retracement down there. And so just a couple ticks away from that, there's the close. And we were in a scenario where we had found support. We were breaking back up through VWAP. We were coming all the way back up to the highs of the morning session and the overnight session. And then we got that very textbook pullback to about 50%, right around VWAP and the previous daily close. And then we got the extension out. So decent opportunity there on that pullback as well. And if you missed out on buying the VWAP, once you found support off the close, again, only just went a couple ticks through the close there, even though it looks like, oh, look, it went really far through. That's quite literally, 1 point, right? So 1 point through, as it started coming back, should have been a good clue that, hey, maybe we're going to continue in the bullish trend that had been established. And sure enough, you got the pullback right back to our roadmap level to get long at the end of the day. So they were great opportunities, even though it was still somewhat back and forth sideways, no true higher time frame direction. And then at the end of the day, you can see here going into Globex, we basically got a double top. So as we opened into Globex last night, they held the high of the day before, which was right there. So another situation where if you would have faded our roadmap level, again, almost no risk at all, and then the market sold off from there, you got your tag of the back end of that VWAP as it was selling off in the overnight session, and then came down, and the low of the overnight session, what do you know, 50% of the day before within a couple ticks, and then we got this nice pop out. And on the pop out, let's bring this back a little bit, you even got another opportunity to try and fade the back end of the 200 with a beautiful peak above and fail with bearish divergence. That would have given you another 5 points to the downside. And then here is where we are right now. The bulls have defended. Now, our holy orange power level, I always have to kind of mention this, doesn't populate until 5 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. Eastern. So 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern. So just before it printed, we actually bounced right at 79.25, and then within a couple minutes, the holy orange power level printed, not because we hit that right there, but it printed based off of the overnight price action, and unfortunately, you would have missed out on that. So there's that, and now here we are coming up, pulling back 1 tick in front of the previous daily close. So we'll see what happens. We're still chopping inside of that chop range here. We are at the top end of it right now, but we're still chopping in, albeit a nice bullish trend, still chopping inside of this pocket. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to jump up to the higher time frames and see what the market has to, or what the charts have to say for this morning.